So we are back. It looks like there was some connection issues. I hope you guys are going to join us back on this stream shortly. I think we lost a connection there or something, some technical issue that's lost in the internet somewhere. So hopefully you guys are joining us back here. It's on a fresh feed, and I hope we get some comments out to people maybe on the older stream. And just leave a comment there so other people realize where to come into. So just to pick up where we left off, we were chatting with Yentel Caers and Balz Müller. We pulled in an extra guest to ask a question, and he didn't manage to ask the question as our issues got started. So let's jump back in with Yentel here and try and pull Balz back in as well and see if we can see Balz on the screen. So Balz, tuck him on away there. Balz, how is it going? You're back in action. I think your video is also working, so that's good news.
Sunday shirt now.
Sunday shirt, looking.
Yeah, you're back. This time we can see you.
This time, keeping it real. Good. Looking suave. Okay, right. Technical issues out the way. We're windsurfers, you know. We're figuring this one out. Balz has got the stream working. Balz, that day for you then? All good?
Awesome day. Yeah. Pretty tired, but I ended up trying 3 new moves today. And for the very first time, I mixed up a kite surf move, which I started recently to do on my wing, which is the handle pass. So I started to unblock my sail and jump around my sail on my foil. So new moves coming along.
Nice.
And I was to be honest, I was inspired. Everyone is lost probably, but now I was inspired watching Amado's movie the other day. He was doing those no-hand flacker into everything.
Oh my god, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was crazy. And so Rohan and me, we both thought, hey, the no-hand flacker we haven't done yet on the foil. And I gave a go today for the first time.
No.
And to be honest, yeah, that's what we thought as well. The first 5-6 attempts were horrible because I was throwing the sail and I jumped on the foil and the sail just hit me straight in the face.
No.
And but I got along and yeah, but some nice ones. They were not yet like stalled as I wish to stall them, but we're getting there. Every day new moves.
Amazing.
Every day best day ever.
Amazing. That's incredible. Actually, I just seen a question drop in that looks pretty funny. You're going to have to bring this up with Laura Gosnig tuning in and asking if you can buy one of your paintings behind you, Balz.
Those ones, they're actually from my girlfriend's loft, but they're probably done on their own. Since my girlfriend and we're living together with 4 people in this flat, and they all like to travel the world. Explore the world, and they also love to do pictures, and that's why we got those nice paintings here. I think
they look great. I mean, also the artwork in your van. We started with you in the van there, and I could see you, but I guess the others.
In my van.
How was that? Have you been painting all your van yourself?
I love painting. For me, it's like for me, I always love it. To be honest, people which know me, they know I'm not good at chilling, and I should maybe learn how to chill. But I always know it's my nature. I need to do stuff. If I'm chilling, I get bored after, let's say, all right, we start chilling now, and then two seconds later, I'm like, oh, let's do this, and then I'm off for it, you know.
Yeah,
I don't like waiting. I like moving.
Yeah, we know that. We know it well. Okay, look, we're going to try take 2 here with Robin van Linden joining us from Fuerte. He's got a question for you guys, so let's bring him in and see if this works on take 2 here. So here he is, Robin van Linden, coming us from Fuerteventura. Let's hope his screen is working. Robin, fire away. Let's go with Yentel first.
We're like having all the travel restrictions. What is your first travel plan after, like, when you're allowed to? Like, now is the time you're supposed to be almost in Fuerte. Where will you go first?
it's going to be how the restriction is going to be, but as everything goes away to come back to Fuerte, because for us it's a normal summer to be every year coming beginning July, end of June to Fuerte and stay there in the Canaries till beginning August. So I really like to come back there and also support the island to go back to normal situation, and for all of us, back to normal routines.
Awesome, cool. Okay, and anything you want to come back with there, Robin?
And yeah, I've got a question for Balz. And now you're like foiling most of the time. How do you feel about normal fin windsurfing and the competitions? Will you keep on doing PWA and EFPTs?
It's actually a good question, because always when I get from the foil on the fin, I have a spin out. But I still freaking love fin surfing, and I'm doing it. To be honest, I'm not doing it less than before. I'm just much more on the water, because mostly the conditions are not suitable for fin surfing. And when it's on, I'm on the water freestyling. And I've been actually even bumping 5.2 yesterday again, and I was trying some chachus and stuff, which is it's nice to be freestyling. And for sure, I'm still loving to do a full power freestyle set like Fuerteventura style, and I will be back competing as well. I wish to be there, actually. I hope to be there till 2 weeks ago. I was hoping to be on Fuerteventura in less than 1 month and competing at the World Tour. And sadly, it's not happening, but I will for sure will be back. And I'm not yet done with freestyle fin. Still plenty stuff to do, and I mean,
we're happy to hear that, Balz. Okay, thanks so much for joining us there, Robin. Thanks for your questions, and we hope to bring in another guest next week. So, cool. Cheers, Robin, and we'll catch you soon.
Cheers.
Awesome.
Cool.
4-0 shifty party.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, man, 3-3 shifty party.
3-3 shifty party.
Cool.
Chica.
That was Robin. I mean, he brings up a good point about you getting on the water with the fin surfing, is what you call it now, as opposed to foil surfing, Balz. But I mean, it's fair enough what you said about you just have a lot more conditions to go on the foil. The foil has a bigger range. You can use those conditions we're never getting on the water with. So you're just out there a lot more. And I think we'll all be following your footsteps.
In the end, it helps you fin surfing, because you get a relationship to your sail, and this relationship just makes you a better sailor in the end, and you progress foiling while actually foiling. You progress normal fin surfing, and it's for me, it's just more time on the water, quality time on the water, quality time out there, and having fun. And in the end, that's how you progress the best, or I progress the best.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's the water time, and also the weight of your foil as well. This is such a good training aid. If you're throwing this around in moves, and then you go back to the normal fin board, I mean, whatever your normal is now, and you go to this, that fin,
it feels much lighter, everything.
Exactly, yeah. And that leads me on to another question. Actually, someone asked on the EFPT Instagram channel. They asked, do you use one board for it all? Do you keep the same board for your foil and for your just normal fin, or do you have different boards now?
To be honest, I got my one to go board, which I like to use for everything. It's my freestyle board. Let's say the Ambi Wildcat board actually comes with a deep tuttle box from summer. So let's say from August on Ambi, every board got the deep tuttle box, and we got an adapter system, so we can use my freestyle board for foiling. And then in the end, I only need one board, and it's going to be my 92-liter freestyle board, which I'm using the prototype at the moment, which is awesome for freestyling and great for foiling. So one board does it all. This is going to be the future.
One board rule them all. Is it a little bit heavier? I mean, you must have a stronger box.
Not at all. Let's say bringing on the grams, it's probably 200 grams heavier, since there's a deep tuttle box in it. But if you got a normal power box, it's also quite a heavy box. And in the end, we all want strong reinforced boards. So it's not going to be those, let's say, 500 grams heavier on underneath your feet, which is gonna make you struggle. It's the kilo pasta you eat more, in the end.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, it's a fair point, or it's the amount of water you drink before you go on the water. So.
Yeah, hopefully not beer. But to be honest, I'm pretty impressed that not most of the brands already jumped on this train, but I'm pretty sure from summer on, most of the boards gonna be foil compatible.
Yeah, I mean, you start to hear more and more are becoming like that. So yeah, I mean, I can see it totally going that way as well. And I would love to have the option also. So, and as far as I know, there's some developments on that as well, our end. So, Balz, there's a question here. Someone's saying how good Silvaplana was today. I mean, we see you every year at Silvaplana. At that event, Yentel, you as well. But how is that event for you, Balz? You've had a great time there as well. You got your world title, your universe title.
Yeah. To be honest, Silvaplana for me, if I need to move somewhere on this earth, I think Silvaplana would be the place, because it's just epic windsurf conditions, and it's like the wind is like you watch on your clock, and 11 o'clock the wind starts blowing. And that's so freaking awesome. Yeah. And the funniest thing is, before foiling was actually existing, I was up there bumping with 11 square meter sails, and I was not going anywhere because it's so high up. It's on 1,900 meters, so the actual wind feels lighter than it is in your sail, and you struggle. And now these days with the foils, it's a foil paradise, and I'm already looking forward to go up there. I probably will be there in 1 or 2 weeks, depending the weather, if there is not a snow falling next weekend. I was actually checking the forecast because I was planning to get up there, because it's amazing, this place, and I'm looking forward to ride this melted water pretty soon.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that leads on to yet another question about Yentel. Sorry, we'll come to you in a minute. We had loads of questions. We had loads of questions with you while Balz was getting on with his technical difficulties. So we'll just catch up a little bit more. Balz, you had that special event at the Engadine Snow. There was a small video of you released foiling on the ice pool. There's some there was some news about this Project X as well. And there's been some filming going on for it. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
I can tell you what will come up along pretty soon. We actually wish to already present you this cool movie project.
Yeah.
The idea was to cross the disciplines. Snowboarding, it's, to be honest, a water sport. It's just frozen water. And for me, the feeling going down a powder hill is so similar to surfing or foiling. And but what was the whole plan of this X project was just to cross windsurfing and snowboarding and bring it together into riding down the hill, into riding water.
Big merge.
And we were a cool team together with Maxime Chablot, who's a youth kite world champion and also a very, very good ski freeride and free skier. And this guy, he's a machine, and he was going down the hill with his kite, crossing Levi Cyber and me on the snowboards. And then there was Uli Gesterholz with his beach flyer. Maybe you guys know what this is. This is all together.
The parachute.
Yeah, the parachute going downhill over 150 km and jumping mad airs. And we were all going down those fresh powder hills, surfing the snow, and had such a great time. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to see this movie coming out soon.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm really looking forward to it. I was fortunate enough to be there behind the camera, filming you guys a bit. I didn't want to bring anything out, let you announce it because you guys are in front, and it was great to see. I mean, such great scenes and incredible. I can tell you.
You haven't made it with the foil yet.
I'm sure it's going to be an epic video, and I really can't wait to see it. So, I mean, what great stuff happening up there in Silvaplana, and Christian, we're always grateful for him hosting the event there and bringing in the windsurfers.
Christian was doing his first foil jumps today.
Was he?
I was. Actually, to be honest, there were plenty of firsts today. I saw young kids foiling, going into foil freestyling. There was a Robin a youth foil future for Switzerland for sure. And he's barely able to stand in his straps without doing like a split, and he jumps already with the foil since today. It's just gonna be such a great time coming up now with this foiling and all those water sports activities, which will be possible in the next years.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. We'll get on to a lot more foiling questions very soon, Balz, but let's jump over to Yentel. Yentel, I mean, you've also spent time up at Silvaplana. You've been there. We've seen your face cruising around and throwing down some toe moves. You were even ripping it on the 4-4 a couple of years ago when that strong Julia wind came in from the west, I believe it is, down the valley there. How do you enjoy the variation of spots that's on the European Tour?
I mean, this is what I love. I like to windsurf a lot in different conditions, from strong wind, light winds, even doing events like Silvaplana is like more a show event. We come straight after, it's the next event after Fuerteventura, what's kind of a hardcore event with strong wind, choppy conditions, and then going to the quiet place in Switzerland up in the mountain and enjoying the water together with friends, doing some show for the crowd with the tow in, and I really enjoy to go there. But in general, I really like the EFPT. It's like a big family where you travel from event to event, spot to spot, and even in between the events, you go all together training and enjoying water and some barbecues together. Having fun. It's like a good group. So I really enjoy the EFPT in this way. And yeah, for sure, all the spots. We have some really good spots on the calendar. Like for me, especially Lanzarote, I really love, and of course Brouwersdam, but it's my home spot, so
yeah, a bit
biased. Normal. But I think most riders love to go Lanzarote, for the completely different conditions than
I mean it's great, isn't it? It's got the jumping, it's got the kind of inside flat section, but also on the wave face, if it's a bit lighter, you get the speed down there, which we've seen you really take advantage of. Actually, we really see you kind of picking those kind of lines down the wave face to do your double power moves and explode into moves that no one really thought possible on the slightly lighter winds that we might get sometimes towards the end of the day of competition or the very start of the day. You seem to
but Lanzarote and the waves, everything is downhill. If you time the wave good with the lighter winds, you can just keep bouncing going down the wave, so you can really easy do double moves. It doesn't matter if it's like 40 knots or you're pumping 5-2, the moves just go because you go downhill. It's like
how do you get over that like mentality of when you learn freestyle, there's always an issue where people find it hard to learn the big power moves on the bigger kit, and to do the double power moves is even harder. How do you when did you find that point where you just were able to do it, or did you train it?
I definitely trained it, but for me, doing it on the small stuff or let's say medium stuff, 4-8, 4-4 is usually the easiest. But then to be able to do it on 5-2, and once you can do the move so good, it's like goes automatically with the small stuff. So when you're able to do it with the big gear like 5-5, it really gives me like, okay, I can do this move, like a good feeling. It makes the move much harder, but gives you a better feeling at the end. If you manage to do it, then you do it with a 4-4 and perfect flat water, where you do it like a million a day.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
Like this,
or a million in one move. You just bam, 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 bam.
And then we have to bring Sam and Steve into the.
Who actually even makes Goito nervous, because I'm seeing Goito trying this triple air funnel, going for the quad triple.
It's crazy, yeah.
Sam just broke the barrier, he went through. I don't know that he starts accelerating through those double moves.
Yeah. He starts at his spot, in Lucca. What's the name of the spot he starts? In Roubaix. Yeah, and then he ends up in down in
La
Franchi down there, like he's way down. He's still bouncing through moves.
But to be honest, it's the place where both of us, Yentel and me, learned the double power moves. I think we did the we did the first double power moves both. We landed them there, I think. Pretty sure. Huh?
I mean,
I landed my first double and triple moves.
Lookout is a really sick spot, isn't it? I mean, you've got the epic flat water to train the moves, to learn and know the move, and then you've got like the chop and stuff where you can go and then apply what you've learned in the tougher conditions.
Exactly. And you got the wind support, which is Tramontana wind blows so freaking strong. I mean, it's usually you got on the offshore spot where the flat water is, you got flying sand, and then you realize, oh, there's the gust coming, and then you duck your sail, and you got like sand hitting your sail, and that's how you do quadruple moves.
Is that like, would that be your tip then to people that want to learn moves?
When the sand hits your sail, just take off and start spinning, and don't stop spinning till you're blind from all the sand in your eyes.
When you need to wear a wetsuit, not to keep warm, but to keep yourself being sandblasted.
Yeah.
Okay.
The glasses.
That's the glass of speed goggles on. Yeah.
Speed goggles.
Perfect. Oh, well, there's the top tips for everyone at home. Actually, if you guys have got any questions, I mean, we're going to go through some of the Instagram on soon, but if you guys have got any questions, leave them in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We've got them popping up all the time, and I can just pull them in and ask these guys straight away. I've got another great one from Flo Rogosnik. I think he's clearly enjoying the chat. He says, so if he practices going down a Loga high wave in no wind and pulls off a double culo, would he be able to beat Yentel? So I think it's suggesting that everyone should train freestyle in Loga high waves.
Going down.
Yeah, but it can also be a 4-meter wave roller like you have in Lanzarote. You know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, the bigger the wave, the more you can bounce down.
There it is. So top tips: either big waves or sandblasted flat water. Awesome, cool. Okay, yeah. I mean, guys, fire in the questions. We'll crack on then with some of those Instagram ones. Let's pull those up. There were so many of them, Balz. You got a ton of them. Yentel, you got some as well, and a lot of people really interested in like the foiling and how you're progressing and developing with that.
That's where you hit the point, I think, because to be honest, nothing against the industry, but there's not much information about what people actually need.
No, it's very true, yeah.
Let's say very little. And now with winging coming up, I mean, we're not going into winging in this talk because it's another story. But
we can touch upon it. I mean, we got time. If people are interested, they can say.
I can explain like my feelings about winging. It's just another water sport activity, which is setting the bar to have lots of fun on the water, and it's just being not connected to the board is such a great feeling. It opens up so many new offload possibilities.
No, I totally agree. And actually, that's perfect. Someone's here, Alva LTG has been asking, can I buy one foil for wing and wind foil as a beginner?
You can. It's existing. There are foils existing. But what I'm always telling, there is a big difference between a beginner foil and an expert's foil, because it's just this. Actually, to be honest, it's simply you need enough surface on your wing, your front wing, and then you get going. Because if you have a small foil, like most of brands, they actually at the moment they sold, or till now they sold pretty small foils.
Yeah. Which are you mean small, like is in the
surface,
the wing,
front wing.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about numbers, if the front wing is smaller than 1,500 square cm, it's for me it's a small wing because it doesn't support you as much as it needs in light wind. And for foiling, what most of people want, they want a foil which is going in very light winds, because that's when we're foiling. And I mean, when the wind is strong and you could actually use a small foil, which is existing a lot on the market, then you don't need to go foiling anymore. You take your fin and you blast around. So what most of people need is a lot of surface, and then it gets you going. And it's like a second board underneath your board. So if you got enough surface on your front wing, it's like you're riding a board in the water, and you're above the water on your normal windsurfing board.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen you landing back on the foil already. Is that getting more and more now? You're getting these wider surface area wings.
It's easier to land because they're much slower. I mean, we're not talking about 10 knots, but we're talking about slower feelings, which gives you more control and more more safety. And to be honest, it's bullshit to use. Sorry to say that, but it's bullshit to use small wings, small front wings, because then you're just not foiling in light wind. So,
but are they better? I mean, small front wings, they must be better for speed or racing.
Much faster, good for racing, but you need sail size. And if you don't want to use sail size, and now we're talking about freestyling and foil free riding. And foil free riding, for me, the point is I love to use my 4.7, 4.8 freestyle or wave sail and go along with that one in 10 knots wind. So I don't need huge sails anymore. I don't need those huge booms, which is just lots of stuff to carry. So the way I'm riding at the moment is I got my 4.8 sail and my 92 liter board, and I'm pretty much, when there's like 0 to 15 knots, I'm using it with the foil. When it's 15 knots up, I'm going on the fin.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of the first top tips we're getting then. I mean, Balz, you have to perhaps create some little I don't know, tutorials or something, video tutorials, something like this. I think people would be super interested, and obviously we can throw them around on the EFPT pages and stuff as well. So actually, let's jump over to Yentel first, because this next question, I kind of think I know what you're going to say, Balz, but it'll open up a good discussion. Yentel, what do you think about the prospect of having to compete against someone who might be on a foil when you don't go on a foil?
I don't mind if Balz want to compete against me in the with the foil and I'm windsurfing. I mean, it's up to him. You know, if the wind gets really light, he's an advantage. But when the moment it gets a little bit stronger, he's maybe able to go higher. But you know, higher doesn't really bring you much more points. It's the difficulty of moves, and at the moment, I'm still more able to do in lighter winds, double moves than Balz is doing on the foil. So, you know, it's weighing up a bit against each other, but I think it's just perfectly possible.
It should be open to everyone's own opinion. That's the critical.
That's freestyle, isn't it?
It's freestyle, and I fully agree with Yentel, because I mean a spot culo. Show me a spot culo on the foil, and then I would put my hat off. But that's what I mean. You know, it's still.
You're going to be the first one to do it, so you show us the spot culo on the foil.
And it's really depending. You know, if the wind gets maybe too light, it's maybe not so fair. You know, if the wind gets really gusty with the foil, you can play it through. But you know, it's already something we always consider in windsurfing to make it a bit fair with wind-wise conditions. But I think it should be perfectly possible. You know. Anyway, if the wind gets much lower, except if you're like Swiss Lakes where you get like the nice Tamok wind who blows like really softly. But in the most spots we go, if the wind gets light, it gets so gusty, even on the foil, it's not really.
But this would be impossible to judge, though, wouldn't it? I mean, if you have one person on a foil, one person on a freestyle board, it's impossible to judge. I mean, given the live scoring system we have, which is a fantastic system, it's great that we can get instant live scores. You know, people know this sort of stuff at home works really great with the live streaming and stuff like this. But with this system, it wouldn't work. So then we would need to have a system where we have perhaps
disciplines.
At some point, you just say, okay, too light for good freestyle normal action. You know, it's 12 knots, 13 knots. Let's not show a pumping show. Let's everyone jump on the foils. But then everyone's got to be trained. You know, they've got to be ready.
Yeah, but you know, it's like a different way, because I still like to do pumping on 5.2. I mean, I don't like to do pumping on 5.2 or 5.5, but I like to do the moves on it. And Balz prefers to go in the foil. So I really think it's like up to yourself. And if it gets too light for me to freestyle, I should have taken the foil as well, you know. So I think it's just like a rider's opinion to take whatever you want, and it's freestyle, you know.
The argument goes so perfectly hand in hand with the toe-in. You know, the toe-in freestyle. A lot of people did it, you know, when it started, and then as time's gone on, it's become less popular, you would say, with the top guys for fear of getting injured, stuff like this. But people can do it. It does work when the wind is too light. It's just a bit of a mission to run it, obviously. But you know, when it's well set up, it's a fantastic show.
Exactly.
The argument is similar with the foil, isn't it?
in the end, EFPT and all those tours, they're living from what we're presenting the publics and what we're presenting the peoples on the beach. And I mean, foil is just the point of how many heats were cancelled. Just in Browerstam, we were cancelling heat after heats, and with the foil, we would just have a fun session. And that's the interesting point. I'm still a big fan of doing those super sessions.
Yeah, I think it will come around. I'm convinced it will come around. Maybe 1 or 2 more years, and then we'll be having proper competitions and moments where the head judge at the time of the event would say, all right, it's open for foils now, I don't think it would be like you have to go on foils. I would just think it would be like, okay, it's pumping conditions, we're opening up for foils as well. And then that'll be how it is. And then at some point it'll be like, right, it's just foils, maybe 3 years down the line or something like that. But it's progressing, isn't it? I mean, we've got a foil championship, so that's a fun one in Switzerland. Yentel, are you going to be entering that one this year?
I don't know. I mean, if the event happens, I'm for sure going to enter it, Last year was too focused on training freestyle, for the titles. And I started foiling in the winter that time, but then I got chance, for the EFPT title, world title. So I completely stopped foiling, and I really trained on also training on the big sails. But now I will take every chance to be on the water and do events that is possible. I don't mind if it's foiling, if it's towing. So long we promote ourselves and the sport, and be busy with the friends, I will be happy.
Yeah, perfect. What a great answer.
And as long as I know Silvaplana is happening. I mean,
you're there.
We were joking, but to be honest, it's a Swiss thing, this foil freestyle at the moment, because lots of young Swiss people doing it. And you brought up a really good point. We need time to get people into foil freestyling, so it's going to be a fair competition. Because if we would do it now, it's fairly 10 people on the world starting to do proper tricks with it. So we need the 50 or 100 people like we got in freestyling, which are able to compete, and then it's going to be a fair competition.
But it's coming, huh? Look at the Swiss contingent of the foil style. It's strong.
And to be honest, I'm already now scared from all those young rippers coming up with fresh knees and fresh minds,
Fresh knees.
I won't say I'm fully ready, but I feel like. I feel like my mind is not stopping me or slowing me down, but it's I also don't. At first, I had more fear from the foil than now. These days, I don't feel like I'm scared to try a double air cooler with the foil or an air kapikuchi.
Yeah.
But for sure, they're gonna be young rippers, and especially as we said, the industry is just pushing forward, bringing new products, and it's gonna be lighter, better, and bigger moves.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how it develops. You touched on a good point there, Balz, about fresh knees and injuries. Have you had any injuries from foiling? I mean, you've had a few from
foiling. Maybe you guys don't see it anymore because I got a little. Well, that was, to be honest, that was my only foil crash, and it was while surfing in the white water. I got washed. And I kissed the stabilizer, and the stabilizer went over my face.
Yeah, I don't think the stabilizer was kissing you back very well.
It could be worse. It could be worse.
Getting the otter scar on. How about injuries in freestyle? You've actually escaped, too many serious injuries. You've had 1 or 2 ankles and stuff like this, but
I still got like 7 screws in my hand, which is I mean, I won't be able to bend my hand anymore. But all of what I was saying when I did the surgery, I was there. And I was telling them, guys, I only need to hold my boom. And then I was 3 months off, actually. And now all I can do is just hook into my boom and go sailing.
Yeah.
And,
but it looks like your fingers have got a quicker route to getting hooked into the boom if they're like that. It's less distance.
Exactly. It's only bad for the ducks, when you duck the sail and you keep on holding it.
Yeah.
No, but it could be worse. And to be honest, windsurfing, for what we're doing, it's not a risky sport. Water is still quite a soft element if you're not trying to drop with 11 Gs, doing whatever spin.
11 Gs or 11 cheese?
G.
That's another question I had on Instagram. It was, Balz, why do you do so many cheese rolls in a heat?
9.
It's yeah,
9 cheese rolls.
To be honest, at one point, at certain conditions, I just love doing cheese rolls, and I love to do this move. And there was one heat where I maybe overcooked it a bit because I wanted to do this cheese roll flacca, which always worked till the competition was on, and then I crashed the first. I didn't crash it. I made a cheese roll, no flacca. I made another cheese roll, no flacca, and then I was running out of moves, doing only one move. But I just wanted to prove to the world that I learned this new move back then, which was the chonka, the cheese roll flacca. And
but that's been your approach in competition, hasn't it? I mean, it was quite. You've been quite freestyle approach to the competition as well as, you know, freestyle on the water, but you approach it with a sense of like, I just want to do the best, sickest move to show the world. It's not about like putting a whole heat together and like this move like this, and being a bit clinical about it or tactical. It's
never been competing a heat doing the way I was planning the list of moves. And at a certain point, I stopped doing a list of moves. And it got to a point where I was actually freestyling and getting along doing duck jibe hand wash, which is for me just as much as freestyle as triple cooler. No, but the point is, for me, it's just having fun being out there, and competition really gets us all together. As you, Yentel, said, it's one big family, and it's being on the water together and progressing while not even competing. Like, even when we're just watching the competition, you're like, oh, this guy had a stylish cool, or this guy had a stylish corner, and it gets you, like, always after the competition, you get home, you travel with your backpack full of impressions and memories, and you progress out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. It's well said. I mean, Yentel, you guys spend a lot of time together, and you approach competition in perhaps that slightly different way of the more clinical, you would say, like a bit more fixed on, you know, what moves roughly. You're still freestyly about it, but that might be because it's rubbed off from Balz on you. Do you find that all those travels you've done together, all that training and stuff, you take a bit of that more freestyle approach as you go into all your heats, and you have a little bit of unpredictability about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I really never go on the heat with knowing which moves I'm gonna do. I mean, for sure, you always go for the best ones. But it just, I don't know. I just feel it when I duck which move I'm gonna do, and I know which one I can do in all the conditions. And you know, it's usually like the standard moves, you know, all the double power moves and then shifties, you know, like these are the best scoring moves, and I really like to do them. It's also the ones I train the most. But definitely traveling with Balz really improved me in overall sailor, because he always pushed me around to try different tricks, and you know, from the weirdest tricks till the sickest tricks you can imagine too. But it really improves yourself to be a better rider, you know, in general, because it's not only about doing all the double moves and big moves, you know. Balz likes to do like this crazy wheelie skipper combinations, and I'm not so good in it, but he pushed me to try different, and you get so much more feeling with the board and sail, you know. It proves you as a rider, and it's just always entertainment to be on the water, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's cool to hear about the competition side and how you approach it. Is there a way, like, you approach maybe you think, okay, this is the move I want to get done first in the heat, because it's either an easier one for you, or on the flip side, it's harder, and you're like, I want to get this one out of the way. If I get it wrong, I want another attempt at it.
No, not really, because I know which moves I can do like on lock normally, and I really see which gust I get, which chop I get, you know. Anyway, I know which moves I kind of want to land in the heat, you know, to be able to win, and I just see when I get the perfect moment to do it. So I never start. I mean, sometimes I start the heat the same, you know, to get like one safe move in, but then I completely mix it up, you know, just seeing which move is gonna happen, you know. Like if you have a spot with waves, if you get the perfect ramp for a push loop, you do it. If you get a good ramp for the shifty, it really change it up. It's not like you're competing on a skate park and you take the same ramp and everything the same.
Routine, yeah. No, cool. I mean, that's awesome to hear. And then so Balz, you can kind of flip the question back to you a bit, because you, in more recent years, you were a bit more wild in the years before, but we saw you in more recent years focus harder on the competition to try and actually, get the result rather than just big send. So is that has that rubbed off from your time spent with Yentel perhaps, or is it something you've just decided in your head, like, I'm just gonna, let's just get the result and then have fun before?
Yeah. To be honest, it's easy to say, but I don't like winning, and I really hate losing. And like together, there were heats. I was actually winning the heat. I was more sad afterwards that I won the heat, and the opposite as well. And then it's lots of stuff going on for sure. And I mean, everyone likes sort of a bit of competition. Even if you're telling I don't like competition, you still like it, because it's this moment where the time is on, clock is running, and it pushes you, and it pushed me a lot. And I would even say, like, my best example is Joe Stone. He was always telling, competition, it's fun, but I don't really like it. But on the other hand, he was killing it. Like, you need this sort of motivation to get out of your mind and try a double forward, like first run, stuff like this. And
that's definitely true.
It's a critical point, competition. I mean, I also already many times said I don't like it, because always when you're losing, you don't like it, and then when you're winning,
you the harness through the air, like, I hate it.
and to be honest, like, Yentel for me is a competition machine, and I always put my head off, because he can get rid of emotions, and I'm not that good in getting rid of emotions, and it's not easy to compete. And that's why I always say, the fun part of the competition is afterwards the party, because no matter which result you had, it's gonna be a good party.
Everyone comes off the water having a good, within minutes or half an hour or something, back in a good mood and having fun together.
It's always good if someone wins some champagne, and then you can
That's a good one to throw at Yentel now. Man, you've had some champagne moments, huh? What's your highlight champagne moment?
I don't know. We sprayed a lot of expensive bottles around. That's for sure something. I don't know. Every event you win or you get on podium, you get to spray the champagne around. It's like a good feeling, and it's like a memory you have forever. And especially because it's always with a it burns quite a lot in the eyes. It's not recommended.
You had a good one in Lanzarote, wasn't it? Just straight to the face.
Yeah. When they were still announcing Steven, and I think you were also there. A lot of guys just took because they know the result already, but I didn't know that I was gonna win the European title at that moment, because I didn't know if I won the heat against Bosson. And they were already ready with the champagne, and they just ran up the stage and straight sprayed in my eyes. And
so good. I mean, there's been some epic champagne moments, and that was definitely a highlight. I mean, for people who are tuning in and watching now, we're going to come to your questions shortly, but that highlight you can see on the EFPT highlight videos and all these across all the events, and see these guys launching insane moves and celebrating afterwards, of course, as well. Yentel, what's your kind of favorite, not favorite competition, which specific one, because they're all great in their own way, but what's your favorite sort of spot to go to on the training side of it?
I mean, I used to love, still really love to go to France. We don't really have a competition at the moment there in Leroy, where Sam is coming from. And Nico, they're not exactly living on the spot, but they always train there. I grew up learning windsurfing there. For holidays, we always went there. And I love to keep going there and training. And you know, the variation you have there from flat water to perfect lakes for freestyle. If they would have more waves, it will be the perfect place ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To me, like, and especially because I love strong wind, and you get some great strong wind days, 3-3 flying water. So, you know,
I mean, and then afterwards you can have the perfect baguette stuffed with camembert. So it's
you take like a long baguette and you lay down.
Sick. Okay, cool. Right, we're going to do a bit of a quick fire through. First, the questions that are coming through on social media, live questions, and then we're going to go to some of those, more of those Instagram questions, and just quick fire through them, and then maybe wrap up with a couple more of the social media questions. So if anyone's still got any questions, chuck them on the social media chats, and they'll pop up. We'll come to those at the end. But first, Yentel, is there a Kulo tutorial coming soon? That's from Robin, who we had earlier on the live.
I was planning to do some more tutorials, but the problem was I didn't have really recent videos, and I was not able to go windsurfing to film. So as soon as I windsurf more and I will film, I will do more through the year about all the moves. You can send me suggestions.
Awesome, that'd be amazing. I mean, to get that from a champ, a world champ, a European champ, that'd be awesome to see. So I'll be tuning in as well, get some Kulo tutorials, Kulo tips.
Double, triple.
Man, quadruples next, huh?
It's coming.
You guys actually are the quadruple firsts.
Candidates.
I mean, the triple is up to probably the same week you guys were killing the triple.
I got it the day after him.
Yeah, you landed the day after.
Oh, that's sick.
Damn it.
We were stoked for each other.
Yeah. The challenge of years.
The challenge is on, the quad Kulo. Sick. All right, next question. Let's check the next one. So could the EFPT add a specific foil style category event in the future? We kind of touched on it earlier, but Balz, I mean, quick thoughts on that for yourself?
For sure.
Yeah.
I only heard rumors that there is lots in the making and planned. So fingers crossed, and we will see. I'm into go wherever we're going, and foiling you can do pretty much everywhere. The best example is my small brother Jack. He's like 2 years ago, he was fully against foiling. I'm never gonna do foiling, and now he's foiling in 40 knots in 14 knots. So whatever conditions you give us, we're sending it on the foils.
Perfect example. There we go. So running in the family now and convincing even your brother. Okay, so what's the first freestyle wind foil jump you would recommend?
The easiest move, freestyle foil move, would be a half carving 360 into a switch kono, which is it's an easy move, safe move, because you're far away from the wing. I mean, it's easy once you know how to foil. Carving 360 will be one of your goals, and it's not that hard as long as you get into the carving 360 low, not too high on the surface. So you carve in 360 low, keep your sail behind you down, and then once you're halfway around, you just push your front end up and you do a kono. So
is that the one you first tried, Yentel?
No, I tried first back loops and forward loops.
Did you?
Exactly. But you know, the back loops and forwards are good, but the forwards loop, they're not as easy with the foil as it seems, because you've got quite a lot of surface underneath your legs, and it's a risky move. It's easy to hurt yourself.
What's that like to land on the foil? Is it a lot of pressure?
It's a lot of pressure, but it can be also very smooth and you won't even feel it. But with the forward loops, I realized it's an easy spin. It's very easy to pop with a foil because it's like a trampoline. You just drop down and you pop up. But for landing, it's another story. And moves like front loop, where you actually land and you get like the whip forward, they can hurt your knees.
And foil.
But for sure, the easiest move, you learn chop hop. And when you're doing a chop hop, keep yourself a bit more back, like you want to spin into a back loop, because then you're far away from the foil. But getting to the point of the back loop without waves is a hard foil move, and with waves it's easier with the foil doing a backflip than without the foil, because the foil slows down the rotation and you're landing it naturally. It's not that hard doing foil backflips.
Interesting. Interesting to know that. Okay, cool. Right. So there's someone asking, Maya Holmuller just destroyed his name. Does someone know the brand Gong? So do you know the brand Gong, and does their foil work well?
I know the brand Gong quite well, and all I can say about it, I don't want to make any promotion for Gong.
Yeah.
But all I know about Gong is they're very motivated brand owners. There's Patrice, I think, from northern France. They're every day on the water, so of course they're producing good gear. Personally, I didn't really enjoy sailing. I mean, winging with it. It's more a wing brand, but they got really good products, and for sure they developed, and they're lots on the water, these guys. So of course this stuff works.
I mean, talking about,
I prefer my own gear, but
yeah, but talking about development there, Balz, I mean, you've developed the foils like crazy over the years. We saw recently like a whole stack of fins and broken foils and masts and all of this stuff. How many foils, roughly, give or take, have you developed and gone through over the years now?
It's been, I think it's for sure more than 10. And I never sold one foil. But to be honest, I'm now at the point where I can say I won't break my foil within 6 months. I mean, at first we were dropping foils to the sea ground very quick. And we were joking and telling, now these guys, you need to stop diving for pearls. You need to start diving foils. So we broke the fuselage connections. We bent the masts. And these days, I mean, most of the foils you can buy from this season on, or even from last season on, they last whatever you're doing. And I mean, the foil I'm using now, I'm using it since more than half a year, and it's still going fine, and nothing is cracked. So go for it, kids.
There we go. So that's development for you. I mean, you've got to a point where you're able to use one for, you know, every day, 6 to 10 hours to 24 hours a day, 7 days a year. So awesome. Yentel, what about for you, development of gear and stuff? How's your process of gear development? Are you still getting new gear and prototypes to work with and produce? And is there anything you can reveal about what's changed with equipment lately?
Yeah, for sure. I'm still working on the development with boards, with sails, mast, all the stuff. At the moment, there are not really big changes coming. You know, all the new gear will be like little small changes. You know, because I really enjoy how my gear is, and you know, it just keep trying, keep finding new stuff, because you not always know what's gonna be good or bad. You don't really know what to change, so we try to change some small details or try and pick different stuff with different materials. Not always works out. Sometimes prototypes are kind of trash, that they don't work, but sometimes you get one and you think, okay, this is the perfect sail ever, or perfect board, and then the next season you get new prototypes and it's again the best thing, you know. So it always keeps going, you know. It never stops.
Point. All the sponsored riders, they always say, yeah, my sail is the best sail, and then I wonder how is it possible that they're like top 10 riders and everyone got the best sail. No, but it's true.
Yeah.
And what you said,
That's, I think, because everyone has a different style and a different way of sailing, and I think now at the end the brands are all quite good and everyone has really sail what he prefers, but it's also what you used to. If you just sail one brand all the time, it's always going to be the best for you, because you really know the feeling in all the kind of conditions. So if you try another sail, well, maybe it's super good or board, but you're not used to it, maybe you don't like it so much, you know. It's really, sometimes you first have to get used to it and before it's good, because sometimes I get a prototype sail, the first session I try it and I don't like it so much, but then after a few days when it gets sailed in a bit and stretched, it's much better, you know. It's, or the duck is a bit different, or the board slides or pops different. It's really
Yeah,
But
certainly.
that's
all
also
getting used to, and
everyone
then
needs to find his own tuned gear, and I think it's almost not possible to give someone your dream setup and tell him, check, that's
no,
the way how I
definitely
ride.
not.
You need to figure it out on your own.
No, it's certainly true. I couldn't agree more. So it's certainly interesting as well, and to hear about that. We've got a question coming in from Brazil then. Let's fire this one to Yentel as well. What's better, your boom up or down? So I think
Medium.
boom there or down here, or
I don't know. For me, I like it like medium. You know, I don't have a high boom. I don't have a low boom, but
regular.
yeah, just for me, it's like straightforward, like regular. You know, but I think it's really depending to personal feel, and I really suggest people to try to play with it. You know, and with all the setup of the board, small things, small details can make so much different. You know, moving footstraps position, fin, base, boom height, put a bit more downhill, less downhill, more outhill. All the small details make such a big difference. And I mean, it's also a lot of fun to play around and learn your gear, you know, like on this way.
Yeah,
And see what works better for you.
Yeah, I mean, but what about like in different conditions? Surely, do you adjust the boom at all for lighter winds, perhaps, or if it's really strong, or?
No, I never change anything on my equipment. Doesn't matter the conditions. I have if I sail 4-4, it will be rigged the same way if it's a bit lighter or a bit stronger. If it gets too much wind, I just go a smaller sail. I will not put more outhaul and more downhaul because you're gonna affect completely the feel of the sail and
what you've trained with and stuff like that.
yeah.
Makes a lot.
So you better change down and or
Yeah.
up, not changing the setup.
Uh,
You can do it, but I don't like it personally.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And Balz, yourself?
I'm screwing all day, but that's for no. But I fully agree with Yentel. You know, the more you disturb your habits on your gear, the worse you will feel it. Yeah, like I mean, it's once you feel nice and natural and happy with it, just keep going with it and don't move too much. Rather take a smaller sail than staying stacked to a fully out of shape sail, which won't work anymore. Freestyle sails, they don't need lots of trim, and you better trim it the way you trim it and keep it like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally true. You see a lot of people, like even on the PWA, you go through the sail rack and you just look at the sail, so you press the tension a bit, and you're like, "Whoa, why is it rigged like that?" But for them, it works, you know. So yeah, it makes sense exactly. So Balz, here's one for you. Someone recently started foiling and they keep going up and down on the foil. Any tips to control it from Josh Locker?
I think it's going up and down. That's the dolphin. It's the very common first progress of learning how to fly. Yeah, I'm doing this dolphin mostly as it's easy to explain. Lots of people, they don't know how much pressure is actually pushing down on the nose from your sail. And what I'm always telling, you got like your two legs, you got the base of your sail, so that's 3 pressure points. And what I'm always recommending is putting your sail further back or as much back as possible. Like this, you get like the 3 pressure points pushing down on your board closer together, and it's easier to balance. Because imagine if you got your sail so much further in the front and your back so far in the back, the legs, it's just going to be hard to control and balance. And what I recommend to every one of you guys, just try it out. Maybe you don't like it, but put everything all the way back, put your sail in the furthest back position, and then you're going to have lots of lift. And then you, with your body weight, can push this lift down and keep you flying. Because what I think is the problem of him, he's in his 2 straps, and to get his foil up, he needs to put a lot of back leg pressure. And to get the board up, he's pushing his back leg, so the board gets up, but he's like in an uncontrolled wheelie position, and your board is like this. And then once you're up, you drop down again because you release the back feet pressure. So it's for sure better to get your board on max lift, so it's getting up, and you're flying, and you push it down. Because if you need to put your board up in the air, you're gonna get down instantly as well again.
Okay.
So try to put max lift on the stabilizer and put your sail further back.
Okay, interesting. There we go. So top tips from the man himself. All right. So what's the biggest sail size you use first on the foil belt?
For foiling at the moment, I'm mostly only using my 4/8 because it's the best compromise of weight and enough surface and easy to pump up. I mean, I'm not flying early with a 5/6 or a 6-meter sail because it's heavy and it's hard to pump. And my 4/8 is super neutral and super easy to pump, and it gets you going quicker if you're able to pump and motivated to pump. Otherwise, you better take a bigger sail, but then it's also another discipline.
Okay, and Yentel, what's your biggest sail size you're using in freestyle?
I have a 5.5.
Yeah.
It's not really used that much, but
what's
mainly
your favorite big size to use?
5.2. Sometimes in the summer session or EFPT when we have light wind, I use 5.5, but mainly my biggest sail will be 5.2.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got now another question here from Clem Bunny, maybe. And it's like, how do you do a backflip? That's got to go to Yentel. How do you do a backflip?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Nah, just enjoy your time, on the beach, trying stuff, trampoline, do every sport as possible, and learn different things, and that will help you in windsurfing and in all the sports.
Okay, but how did you learn it first? Just on the trampoline?
I don't remember. It's too long ago. I learned it when I was a small kid, and
that's how you do a backflip. Learn it when you're small.
I don't know how you do it. It happens.
Just jump and go.
Just jump and watch backwards.
But is that the same? Is that the same technique you apply to your windsurf moves? You just go, they happen. Seems to be the case. Like you just go and it's bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, at the end when you learn moves, it gets a muscle memory. You don't remember. Like I have a hard time explaining people moves sometimes, as I do moves for a long time, and I really know how it works on muscle memory. But I cannot explain people exactly how I do them. I really have to go watch my own videos and analyze what I do to explain other people how I do moves.
But you've also spent time training with Steven van Broekhoven, and have you guys ever traded tips on moves? Like, do you do that sometimes?
Yeah, of course, but I think you do that with all the riders. You give each other tips, but I think you mainly learn from sailing behind each other and trying the moves and seeing what they do wrong and what you do wrong and comparing and just keep trying. And I recommend watching loads of videos. Yeah. I love to be at home watching windsurf movies from all the riders and learn from that and see which moves you like, which style you can maybe use for yourself, what you like, and make a good combination for yourself.
Awesome. Yeah.
And the easiest way to progress is also getting filmed, and it's not easy because once you're able to do a move, you don't know how it looks. And to be honest, it was cool the way how 0.7 did this Flaka 0.7, with the Flaka competition, because it brings people which usually don't get filmed into an uncomfortable position, seeing themselves on their own. Mostly,
but also it doesn't matter which level you are. It's really nice to film each other with your friends. You just take a GoPro or even with a cell phone from the beach. Everyone does a few runs and you film each other. It's really cool. It not always has to be for social media and stuff, but also just for yourself, your friends, to show the family. I really like it, and I do it loads.
That's it.
Filming myself on the GoPro.
We've done that, haven't we? I mean, with each other, we've all done those kind of filming each other sessions. Till you'd even grabbed a camera at me at an event before and filmed me doing a move, I think toe move in Fuerte or something.
Yeah, of course. It's sometimes you have to do something for your friends and they do stuff back. So
yeah, exactly. You get what you give.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. It's awesome. So, Balz, here's one for you. Why are you not using an electric foil?
Too much wind in Switzerland.
Quick answer, probably.
I'm looking forward to the first guy who's gonna compete with an electric foil and just killing everyone. Going like start line, beep, and then he's like straight up.
I mean, then you'll be on the water all through the night as well. We see you going into the night.
To be honest, electric foils, jet foils are not allowed in Switzerland, and I'm very glad about it.
Really?
Jets are not allowed in jet skis and whatever.
Yeah.
And the point about electric foils, what's gonna be very interesting are like those foils which are like self autopilot foils, which probably maybe gonna be electric foils. But we will see.
Foil. What's the
there are existing brands already which try to figure out with autopilot foils. So
no way.
You sit on it and it goes.
Yeah, but the cool thing about foils, you honestly don't need an engine. It gets you going in very light winds, and even no wind when you're pumping.
Yeah. You pump. Sometimes you're pumping up and down the board like a surfer at the sail. Yeah, I've seen that. Okay, so foil style barracuda, possible?
Question of Steven.
Really steeper, to be honest, is still a move. I'm struggling, and I feel scared for my balls. I'm getting rid of the straps is not a good idea with foiling. And my girlfriend Eva, she's
wants kids.
She doesn't like when I'm trying release keepers, but for sure it's possible. Barracuda gonna be possible. I mean, the switch air judge is coming up along now, probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We did the first.
I saw it.
It feels natural.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I was trying this move for years without the foil, and now with the foil, it's just going along, and then it's an air switch toucher.
Crazy. It's like you kind of duck the sail
in the air,
normal, like a regular, but like a duck for going for a power move. It's like you do that as you're kind of taking off, and then you're coming around almost like an air funnel over it. It's crazy. It's really sick. So.
I remember, Yentel, you remember like probably 4 years ago, I was always thinking to do a rocket air and then ducking the sail in the air and then doing culo. We were in Big Bay, like 4-0 fully stacked. I was trying rocket airs, and then doing the rocket air, I was thinking to duck the sail in the air. Didn't work out yet.
Crazy. What other crazy moves have you guys tried or attempted to try with each other? I think I remember some Superman things going on at some point.
Pork wraps, like tail wraps.
Supermans. Lots of weird stuff.
I still haven't
think about it.
Backloop. Superman backloop. Superman backloop. And then, in motocross, those guys, those dirt bike riders which jump and let go the whole bike, and they're like 25 meters in the air, and then we guys not even able to get out the straps.
Well, there's the new development. You can jump off the foil and Superman the foil.
Superman the foil, grab the fuselage.
Oh,
no. They say.
That'd be mental. Any other crazy moves you guys have tried together or attempted in front of each other? Sometimes I see, like, I think I felt the vibe as well and also tried a bit, but sometimes I see you guys like really pushing each other and you follow each other and you go move, and then suddenly someone goes for something completely like, WTF. What is that?
To be honest, it's just motivating. If you're riding with someone like Yentel, it's just pushing you so mad, and you, as I said previously, it's just makes you get out of your mind, and try stuff which you wouldn't think it's possible, and that's what we need as well, Otherwise, the sport wouldn't progress.
Has Balz pushed you into any crazy moves as well, Yentel?
I mean, the biggest move, like we all know, what Balz pushed all of us in is the shifty. And, in the beginning, everyone told him he's completely crazy to do it. And I started doing it from the beginning as well. And at the end, from trying this kind of moves, what looked impossible, we're now doing every single heat, we do shifty. So I think that's one of the biggest examples. Balz pushed all of us in. But more moves, like also moves we try, but at the end it's not possible, like doing culos and ducking through the air. And I mean, maybe we can do it, but not perfectly. But we're trying all these crazy moves together, weird things, what doesn't work out. Sometimes there is one good move coming out, and
that's how freestyle is progressing.
And sometimes you break your nose, Yentel.
Don't do switch 10 shifties.
Okay, good to know. But actually, then, so that's interesting on as well, the shifty, because that's kind of been a defining move. Perhaps there was before there was back in the day it was like the spot spinner, and then came the ducking moves, and in between, obviously, some other moves, the shaka and things like that. But there was the ducking moves. Would you say the shifty has been one of those defining moves as well, where it's kind of set a new level?
Possible. Yeah. I think it's just one of those new power moves rotation. And these days, when you look, it's not even anymore about sliding moves. It's most of the guys riding bigger fins and doing air moves. And double air cooler for me is for sure the next step, which just shows where it goes. It's of course we all love sliding, but if you see a shift your double air cooler, you just won't believe it.
It's entirely the way freestyle is going. It's all these air moves and these these bigger jumps. So I think we're all excited to see that develop, and that's where it goes kind of full circle back to the chat about the foil and using that for the lighter winds to get the air moves in those lighter winds. So here's another one. We've got Rafa Marini. Sorry, killing these names. Any tips for crashing? So Yentel, you're talking about a broken nose earlier.
No, that was not me. That was Balz.
Balz, you broke your nose on the switch shifty.
I broke it on the switch shifty.
Was it you?
I was with the camera behind him.
No way.
Yentel was laughing. No, but Yentel is the master of crashing and towing.
No, but crashing is like a part of sport, It's something you have to do loads to learn the way you crash, You like, even in shifties in the beginning, you think you're always going to crash in the gear, but now you feel how to escape the moves without hurting yourself. And I really enjoy crashing, actually.
Do you tend to aim to stay in the straps more, or do you think like actually it's better to kick out?
I kick out often, but you should be careful when you do it, because if you're above your gear, you're gonna land on it. Yeah. So in a lot of cases, it's better to just hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hold on the boom. If you don't let go of the boom.
Yeah, I mean the crashing is all part of the learning, isn't it? Yeah, and as you say, hold on to the boom there. So.
Yeah, but who doesn't like a good crash? It's fun to watch. It's fun to do. If you don't hurt yourself, I think it's one of the best things to see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny as well, isn't it? Sometimes you go for a big push loop or back loop and you bail out and you just fly down into the water. It's all right.
Yeah, but how many times you find yourself doing still stupid catapult and laughing with yourself when you're in the water with your friends behind you and
in the middle of a EFPT final or something like this.
Yeah, that can happen, but you should just laugh with it and go on. A crash is not a big deal, it's a part of the game, and I enjoy it. I find it fun.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, and Balz, how do you manage it with the foil?
Oh, crashing, part of the game, as you say. But it gets
what's your tips to how
to not crash with the foil? The most important is keep yourself away from the foil. So try to stay on the boom. When you do a catapult, and I mean the worst crash I saw foiling was like my dad trying his first foil runs, and then as soon as he got up, he jumped off the foil turned, and he barely missed the foil, but it was a close call. So stay in your straps is one strategy with the foil, then you're above the board. But on the other hand, I saw Yentel landing between the wings, like his neck was hitting the stabilizer. So I think it's all as well. It's trusting you. It's trusting yourself and believe nothing is going to happen, and always touch wood, and don't be too scared, because I think failing, it gets to a point where you're crashing, then you're failing, and when you already previously think, oh, I'm not going to do it, then better don't do it. And always when I hurt myself and injured myself, I was sort of tired. It was like the last run.
Knocked out on the new board.
I was only thinking about spaghetti and stuff like this. So
there's pizzas and stuff like that. Yeah.
Big beer.
Big hand beer. Cool. Look, okay, let's go with these last couple of questions on the social media then, and we'll start to wrap it up, as this one's I mean, this could go on all night. Literally chat all night, and we do. You know, we all sit together and we chat all night about this stuff, and we're on trips together and things like this. But let's start to wrap this up, and maybe we'll do a special with each of you individually at some point, you know, and go into more details individually also. But here we've got from a booties question. This is a good one. What brand of boots do you sail with, as they tend to delaminate? From Vigos Bergstrom.
Booties, I think I used to sail always with them because on Brouwersdam we have to with muscles in the water.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are so many brands and stuff, but you can go bare feet, you know, it's easier.
Yeah. Like, what do you used a lot? You recommend?
I was using the XL ones, but there are. I will always go for the thin boots, like really like 2 millimeters or something. Don't go for the big boots as you don't have any movement anymore in the feet. Even in cold weather, it doesn't matter. You know, you have to work to stay warm.
You like that thin, like natural feeling?
Yeah, the most natural feeling, and I think all the booties will rip after a while. You know, it's but mainly they.
But you know, I don't fully agree with you, Yentel, because our water gets way below below comfort zone. But I agree, it's better to have thin boots. And what I like personally are those bare feet feeling Atan boots, which feel like socks, but they rip really quick. But if you wanna, I mean, those ones, they're very comfortable.
I think you have to just be like, you have to understand that if you want a boot that feels like it's not there but it's warm, it's probably going to be one that actually gets damaged quite easy because you just slice it or whatever. It's on your feet. You're walking around on stones all day, so.
Yeah, but usually they also last. If you buy one pair for the winter, they last the whole winter. You know, exactly. It's when it gets spring they start breaking, and I think it's fair enough that.
Skateboarders, they use more shoes than we do. I think a good skateboarder, he rips his shoes in 1 week.
Yeah, true. It's true, and they're more expensive than the winter boots.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, you guys both skate a bit as well. Have you found that's helped your freestyle windsurfing?
I think it's, as you said before, Yentel, just doing all the sports. Also BMX, skating for sure gets you a familiar feeling to boards, and the best is to grow up doing this when you're small and with less fear. As a small kid, you learn the quickest.
Yeah, for me the same. I love to do always when I was a kid. I was not only into windsurfing. I did all the sports, like every extreme sport I was into, and I still do, and I still love it. I just do it with a bit more care because windsurfing is too important to me that I don't want to injure myself in other sports. But I still do it, and I think it helps you. You know, all the other sports you're working with rotations and feelings, and you know it works in windsurfing as well like this, so it helps you for sure.
Perfect. Cool. Okay, and then last question: how do you guys stay in shape during the off season? Well, Balz, you don't have an off season, and and we've all been forced into a bit of an off season at the moment. I mean, Yentel, you don't really have an off season either, so you guys just windsurf, no?
Yeah, normally you never have an off season. You know, the off season for us is the best part of the year because that's when we travel and train. I mean, this time period was a bit strange to normal, but I think normally the off season for us, when there's no competition, is the best part of the year. Yeah. We go to the beautiful places in the world, train with all the friends, enjoy, and it's perfect.
But talking about this off season, what I realized from back in the days when I wasn't able to travel, when I was doing my apprenticeship in Switzerland, and in the winter time it's just too cold, I mostly progressed during the off season, doing analyzing and watching videos and stuff and dreaming about windsurfing. That's my little top secret. I'm dreaming a lot about windsurfing, and I mean, it's just you lie in your bed and all you're thinking about is windsurf moves, and that's when you progress. Because I think it doesn't matter if you're sailing. Mostly, if you're sailing a lot, you're doing the same mistakes over and over again, and you're not really progressing. when you're off for 1 week and then you get back on the water and you have this first session full power, you're going for the moves better than when you would actually sail every day. So that's what I need to learn a lot. I need to learn to chill and relax and to stay in shape. I don't need to do lots of muscle training, because for freestyling we don't need too much muscle. It's just going to slow your rotations down. So what we need is a lot of flexibility and body movements.
I mean, if you want flexible ankles, then freestyle is the sport to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Stretching ankles.
Our ankles pretty good, you know.
Yeah. We do a lot of ankle yoga.
Yeah, exactly. Forced.
But if you plan to get into racing, you know, then won't matter if you pump a few extra kilos.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's guys out there. Amado is classic. You know, he's getting into racing. He's just pumped up now. He trained like hell, but he's also killing the freestyle. So
he does.
You know.
Yeah, but I think everyone has his own way. Like Amado's training a lot in the gym and like with the mind, and training on the water as well. In the other side, me and Balz, we are some people who like to do different sports, and I think that's the way we keep ourselves fit. So everyone has his own way of doing it, and there is no good or bad way to keep yourself fit and to train for windsurfing. You know, it's freestyle. We do whatever we want and whatever we like to do it, and it looks like it works out for everyone his way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, freestyle is through and through. That's you guys. Cool. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you this evening. We got over those early technical glitches and got it there. And I think Balz, your lights are back on, so everyone's been enjoying seeing your face, your great mop of hair there. I've got one last one for you, Balz. You've been through quite a few different hairstyles. What would you say is your most favorite look you've had over the years?
The one when I had this red mullet, I think, because I thought I will get a big bonus from Severn, which never paid off.
No. The story.
I never went to a hairdresser, and I will pretty sure never go to a hairdresser. But the coolest thing about my hair is I don't really care about it, and if it's too long, I cut it, and if it's annoying, I get it out the way. And everyone is welcome to cut my hair, no matter what.
Here it is.
Even if
it's house on the beach, make sure you got your scissors out and just get a little.
You can cut it with some fins. Also.
Yeah, I've seen that actually. I've seen you like with the fin.
Yeah.
Brutal. Okay, thanks, Balz. Yentel, last one. This year is looking a bit up in the air. I mean, it looks like we're not having a freestyle world title this year due to the coronavirus. Super unfortunately, of course. We all wish it's happening. And who knows? I mean, maybe there's some special event that comes up. Still a lot of time to go. The European Tour still has some events on the calendar. You know, flexible events. It's possible we have our first event in August already in Egypt. That's still looking really promising. And the Engadine Wind we know is happening. It's been announced and pushed a lot. And then those later events, Lanzarotte's been rolled over, so that looks really promising as well. How's your feeling for this year with all this time off? Could it be that there's some threats coming from people you're not expecting, or are you feeling like really, really strong for this year?
I feel strong for this year. You know, I trained a lot over the winter, but I know everyone did, and because we don't have the events in the first part of the year now like we used to have, everyone is going to be so hungry for just action and competing in the first event that it's going to be really interesting and also going to be a lot of fun to compete. It's going to be a really fight, and I like the challenge. You know, I don't just want to win. You want to win with really winning against the best guys, and even if you lose, then you know, if you had a good fight, it's going to be nice.
Perfect. Well said. Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the EFPT Airtime, and we hope you go off tomorrow and have some awesome airtime as well. We'll see you guys soon online, I'm sure, and hopefully offline on the beach.
Right. Cool. See you.
Nice.
Thanks so much. We'll catch you guys again soon.
Cheers.
So that's it, guys. I mean, thanks so much to these absolute champions, legends on and off the water, for joining us here on the EFPT Airtime. I know it's been a long one this time. We had some technical glitches to get over, and these guys, I mean, we can chat all day with them. They have so much knowledge and experience. Balz obviously going into the foil style generation, this new generation of freestyle, and plenty to talk about there. Perhaps we can get him back for a a one-to-one and talk way more detailed about this foil style stuff, and maybe bring some news as well from the guys above on the EFPT tour and see if they've got any news for us about developments there. And of course, Yentel, I mean, we really touched the surface on his achievements, his accolades, and his ambitions going forwards as well. He's reached the pinnacle in the freestyle, but where does it go for him now? So let's see if we can maybe get those guys back in the future. And thanks so much for all your questions, joining in. Please share it about, tell your mates, tell your friends, get them in every week on the airtime. And next week, we still haven't confirmed our guests, but we will announce those on our social channels. So stay tuned to the EFPT social channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of those channels, and you can see who we will have, and make sure to get those questions in nice and early so we can bring them up. We will try to get in another guest next week, just someone who wants to ask a question, maybe two people. Let's see if that one works out, and we'll try to pull in another guest into the chat as well, like we did this week. So cool, thanks very much. Thanks for joining us on the airtime, and we'll see you next Monday, 8 o'clock Central European time. That's me, Adam Sims, signing out. Good night and enjoy your sessions.